Lesson 5.6, find rational zeros. We've used factoring and graphing, quadratic formula, etc. to solve various polynomials. But sometimes we can't easily factor a longer polynomial. So in this lesson, we're going to use a different method. And it starts off by saying, find the possible rational zeros. So we're trying to figure out what are possible x-intercepts. We'll begin with finding factors of the constant. So that would be plus or minus 1, plus or minus 6, plus or minus 2, plus or minus 3. Then we find the factors of the leading coefficient. Plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2. The factors of the constant are p, and the factors of the leading coefficient would be represented with q. So you can see up here we write it as p over q. So that's what we're going to do next. We're going to list all the possible zeros. Currently I have 8 possible answers. I have 1 over 1, and then the 1 over 2, then I went over to the 2 over 1, 2 over 2, we have 3 over 1, and 3 over 2, and then we did the same thing with our 6. 6 over 1, 6 over 2. We're going to clean this up a little bit by simplifying. We can see that we have plus or minus 3 twice because 6 over 2 was 3, so we can get rid of one of those. And then we also have plus or minus 1 twice because 2 over 2 was 1, so we can get rid of that guy. So there's actually 6 possible rational zeros, or x-intercepts. Now we're asked to find the zeros, not the possible zeros, but to find the actual zeros. But in order to do that, first we must list the possible rational zeros. So that's step number 1. Recall we take the factors of the constant, so plus or minus 1, plus or minus 14, plus or minus 2, and plus or minus 7. Then we take the factors of the leading coefficient, which in this case is 1. The only factor is plus or minus 1. We put them over PQ, and the constants are the P. The leading coefficient is the Q, but because we just have a 1, 1 over 1 is 1, 2 over 1 is 2, so our possible answers are plus or minus 1, 2, 7, and 14. Next, we're going to test the zeros using synthetic division. So I'm going to start off with the plus or minus 1. So we have a positive 1 and a negative 1. We bring down the 1. 1 times 1 is 1. Negative 8 and 1 is negative 7. Then we bring up the negative 7, 5 and negative 7 is negative 2. 1 times negative 2 is negative 2, and that becomes a 12. So this 12 is not a 0, so we're going to go over to the negative 1. We bring down the 1. Negative 1 and 1 is 1. Negative 1, so that's negative 9. Negative 1 and negative 9 is a positive 9, so that's 14. Negative 1 and 14 is negative 14, and now we have our 0. Recalling we use x minus k, so when we factor, this is actually x plus 1, and then we have x squared minus 9x plus 14. the 9, the 1, the 9, and the 14. We can easily factor a little bit more, so we bring down the x plus 1, 2 sets of parentheses, x minus 2, x minus 7. Negative 7, negative 2 is a positive 14. If we add them, we get the negative 9. Using our zero product property, we can see that x will be equal to negative 1, 2, and 7. And if we look at our possible solutions, we said it could be plus or minus 1, and it was the minus 1. We said plus or minus 2, it happened to be the positive 2, and then it happened to be the positive 7. So from our list of possible answers, the actual answers are negative 1, 2, and 7. If you encounter a problem where they actually give you one of the zero values, and in this case negative 7, we can skip the whole listing all the possible zeros part and go straight to synthetic division. So we know one of our answers was negative 7, so that gives us the binomial x plus 7, and then the x squared comes from this 1, and the minus 2 is there. We can't factor x squared minus 2 anymore, but we can solve for x. So off to the side, we'll set it equal to 0. X squared minus 2 equals 0. Add 2 to both sides. X squared equals 2. And then we take the square root of both sides. So x equals plus or minus the square root of 2. So our list of zeros will be negative 7, the square root of 2, and the negative square root of 2. Those would be my x-intercepts.